Here we are at step 8, just finished step 7. So now we have 3 stripes of our second color, and make sure to count you have 28 stitches, and we have been carrying our colors along with us, so they're super easy to change colors with, and we don't have to weave in any ends, which we all love. So for step 8, going to do pretty much the same thing we did for step 2 down here. Right after we cast on, we did knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and that is what we are going to do now. Again, but we're switching back to our first color. So just going to knit and then purl and knit and then purl and then knit and purl, and then we will do step 9. Step 9, you have knit and purled 6 more rows to get the same length that we have at the bottom, and the next step is to just knit 3 rows, and this is going to create a turn row where we will fold our pencil case over on itself so that it can become more of a case than just a flat piece of knitting. So knit these 3 rows, and after each row, keep checking that you still have 28 stitches. And if you don't, please contact either myself or Miss Pearson, and we will help you figure out how to get those 28 stitches back. Now you're probably looking at your knitting thinking something is wrong because you have mountains on the side with all your valleys, but no, this is exactly what we want. And you've probably seen this before when you're knitting and purling and accidentally knit 2 rows together, or maybe even purl 2 rows right next to each other. But this is going to be the perfect turn row for our pencil case. And now on to step 10. You're going to take our knitting and purl. And step 10, usually all the other steps have 6 steps to knit and purl, but step 10 is just 5. So it's purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, because we already knit that 6th step in the 3 rows that we just knit for our turn row. In through the back door, run around the front, back through the window, and off we jump. Down through the back door, run around the front, back through the window, and off we jump. So now that we have done our first purl row of step 10, you can start to see that we're going back into the valleys, coming down from the mountains and going right back into the valleys. And now you're at the point where you are just going to basically repeat everything we just did at the beginning. So they will be like a mirror, mirroring each other. They'll be exactly the same. Once you've completed step 10, it might not look exactly like this part is as much as this part, but it is. And the way to, and you can count it to make sure. So you can look at your valleys and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Remember, 1 row is always on your needles. And from here, you're going to switch colors again. You may have cut it off since it's way down here, and that's okay. But if you didn't, you can always just bring it up. Don't pull it too tight though. You don't want to bring your whole pencil case with you on the way. As long as you are following the pattern, it should be all set to go. And step 11 is a knit row and a purl row with your second color. You can just start knitting right with it and see how loose it gets. So again, you can pull it just a little tighter and maybe tie a little knot, or just move gently through these next couple of stitches. And knit, purl the stripes just like you did at the beginning. Step 17, you've made it to the top, and you can see now that this bumpy edge is where it will turn in on itself. So exciting. And you can fold it and make sure that the two edges match up. It might look a little strange, but it will all work out. And you might even notice that I have a little bit of a different color here. I took some scrap yarn from school and I didn't have quite enough to finish with my medium green, so I had to switch to a lighter yellowy green that I had, but I like it. I think it adds a little bit of variety and it looks just enough different that I enjoy it, and it's going to look very neat to me. So the next step is to just knit 6 rows. So no more purling, you are done with the purling, and we are just going to knit now. And this is the start of our flap. So we'll knit 6 rows, and then we will start to decrease to make our flap go inwards, so it will become somewhat of a triangle. This is the first decreasing row. So when we knit 1 stitch, it just helps to make it decrease in a very clean way. And then you knit 2 together. So instead of going into that first one, you go into the one right next to it, and then you go through both of those stitches. And then you just knit it like it was just 1 stitch. Just knit it just like normal. And then those 2 stitches become 1 stitch. And then just knit the rest of these 22 stitches. Knit all the way down until you have 3 stitches left on your needle. So I've got 3 stitches left on my needle, and I've knit 1 over here and then knit 2 together, so decreased 1, and then I knit 22. So right now I have 27 stitches on my needle, and my next step is to knit these 2 stitches together. And when I knit these 2 together, I get 1 less stitch. So it's kind of like 2 minus 1 is 1. So now those 2 stitches become 1. And then I just have this final stitch left to knit. And that is how you decrease. Don't forget to knit 1 row between all of the decrease steps. So now I have 26 stitches, and I'm just going to knit each one of these, and then I'll still have 26. And then when I go to step 20, I will keep decreasing, but I'll only have to knit in the middle. I'll have just knit 20 instead of 22. Now you have done step 18 through 37. Wow, look at all that hard, beautiful work that you've done. We are about to cast off, but first just take a minute to admire all of these wonderful stitches. Look at all the purling that you did. Get your colors, and just take a minute to appreciate just everything that you've learned, all the techniques you've learned, and everything you've done. Awesome job. Now we're going to cast off, and I'm sure most of you remember how, but we're just going to do a little refresher, just as we do step 38 together. That is a lot of steps, but we have made it. So you're just going to knit 2 stitches, just like normal. And then you're going to take the bottom stitch on those stitches that you just knit, pick it up, and just pull it right over and off the needle. And then that stitch is secure and off. We'll do it again. So all you do is knit just 2 stitches, and then take the bottom one and just leapfrog it over that top one and right off into the pond. And do the same thing again. Take the bottom one, pull it out a little bit, give it a little bit of looseness, just so it can easily jump over and off into the pond. And just keep doing that. There's only 8 stitches left. Got a little fruit fly joining us. And just do it till you're all done. Off we go. Just be careful not to let that one on top fall off with it. If it does, it's okay. You can always pick it right back up. Off we go. And final one, off we go. And then with this last stitch, you can cut the tail of your yarn and just pull it all the way through, and then it's secure. And there you have it. Your very own pencil case. Beautiful work. And if you fold it in on itself, this is what it's going to look like. Awesome. So once you get to this point, this is a great time to just take a rest and then call Miss West, and I will cut some felt for you that you will then stitch into the inside and then fold it up and then stitch the sides together, seeing that the stripes line up the best you can get them to line up. So I know that the pattern does say that step 39 is to sew up the sides, but it's going to be easier to put the felt in before you stitch up the sides rather than having to put it in with your sides already stitched up. So once you get to this point where it's still open, just have your mom or your dad call or email me, and we will get it all figured out on how to finish it up. But for now, amazing, amazing job. And we'll put that felt in, and then we'll put a little button on here so it can close. All right, all, have fun.